Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is your man Q Hallowgrounds of Hallowground Minstrel. And today we welcome you to Carolina Radio in Realville, USA.
Yes, sir.
Today's guest on the show is a gentleman that hates on no man. When it comes to MCing, this fella gonna stand. You feel me? No matter how elevated the journey may have gotten, this dude humbly remains a student to the trade. Over 15 years of dedication to his artistry and his skill. Living by the creed, I'm the biggest competition, challenge, and critic. Mr. CarolinaCool, but hold up. We ain't finished. So without further ado, Carolina Radio live from Realville, USA.
Yes, sir.
Give a Carolina welcome and help me welcome Mr. Dominique Simmons, better yet known as Real Life.
What's up, man? Where we at with it?
How's it going, sir?
Everything good, man.
Yes,
For
sir.
real. I'm
yes, sir.
happy to be alive, bro.
Man, listen,
For real.
With COVID, everything that's going on, it's really some serious situations, circumstances out here, but for the most part, we just do the best we can, man. I'm just glad to be able to get you in this interview and this live, to ask some questions. I mean, because you really do some great work.
Appreciate it, man.
It's not a lot of artists that really is bringing to the table what you are bringing to the table. So, I mean, if, I know we're time limited, time sensitive, but, I feel like questions that I have as being a personal fan.
Facts.
And by the way, this is Bro Fam. We don't do Bro Ham. We just Bro Fam.
Facts.
Bro Fam, So, hashtag Bro Fam. If you don't mind, we just want to spend time with you today and just, pick your brain on what it is that, people will want to know when they listen to your music for years.
Got you.
So, when did you first start, recording music?
I was probably 15, something like that. I was always jotting. Yeah. It actually started with poetry. A lot of people don't know I write poetry really well.
Right.
It started with poetry.
Right.
And it kind of stemmed. When I met, when I ain't gonna say met, but when I got old enough to realize who Stu was, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he gave me his project Ready or Not back in the day. It kind of was like, I think I can do what he's doing. I know I ain't that good, but I can try. See, you gotta look, it was the beginning stages. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So I was like, I think I can do it. I ain't sure. So I tried. I was a little rusty. And throughout that year, it got to a point where I was like, hey, Mom, can I get a microphone for Christmas? I already had the computer. I was like, can I get a microphone? And we was already Eric, we was already trying to rig up stuff to record through the headphones.
Right.
The little software, Audacity, all type of stuff. We was trying to rig up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we wanted to record that bad. When I got the mic, we kind of got into it. So I started to learn the process at 15 years old. So that pretty much answers the question right there. 15.
All right. Cool. Because another thing too is because a lot of people would classify you as a rapper, right? So we have rappers, and back in the days, and originally from hip hop, from being MCing. How long would you say that you've been necessarily in the trade of MCing? Because first it made to start off a rap, but just elaborate on that a little bit.
As far as so the question is, if I'm understanding right, it's how long that I feel like I could classify me. How long has it been since I was rapping? I can classify myself as an MC.
Yes,
Got
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
I feel like up until the point I dropped the first Mixcraft, the first mixtape. It took years. From 15 to 18 was practice years.
Right.
I dropped on Mixcraft at 18 years old.
Yes, sir.
I feel like from the moment I could release that, I feel like I've hit a certain point where I can classify myself as an MC, and I do what the big dogs do at that time. I was young, little puppy, but I felt like I can rap with anybody in the world, even at that age.
Let me ask you a question. All right, so with that being said, what point did you say to yourself, man, this is definitely, I heard you say, for real, you asked, Auntie, Mom, let me get a microphone for Christmas, but, when was the assurance there? This is something that I really, really want to do.
As far as what stages we talking, because it was never.
I mean, because listening to your music, man, there's just so much great, classicals that has been imposed. So when I ask at what point in life when you what, this is something that I'm going, in the sense of quote unquote your last album, 7 days and running, I'm just gonna run with it. You know what I mean?
First things first, the hardest thing to do is get your first mixtape out. First, it's very, very tough because it's no foundation, right? There's no foundation. So when you finally tough through that and get that piece of work out, you start to get confidence. So from the moment I finished that first project, it was like, yo, I can do this. Like, because I got through this project, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So it took that for me to even think that I can. So when I got there, it just kind of stuck with me. That's about it.
You know, and like the thing about it is like inspirations. Have you had like any inspirations or like what first album, what first artist that you heard?
My inspiration went through stages in my life.
Like first, like said, like Mixcraft 1. Like who was your inspiration?
Mixcraft 1. The inspiration, like as far as like artists or livelihood or what? Okay, put like this.
I would say more of a balance between livelihood. If you can elaborate on both, even.
What drove I think the passion drove me. So it was more self-inspired. But as far as like artists, inspirations, number one, Big Stu always inspired me because he was always the catchweight. I always tried to catch Stu. Right. And every time I got here, I feel like this dude was leveling up. So it was always a trail. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Stu, by the way.
Big facts.
Who is Dan Stewart? You know, Elder Dan Stewart. You know, it's just. The thing about it, when God brings things into your life and you transition and just like gifts that we like, I remember speaking with you before. You were just saying you feel that everything is connected.
Facts.
Everything is connected. So it's like just such an amazing thing to see that, and this is what's been born. You know, so facts. For the most part, yes, sir. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good, man. You good, man. You know, do your thing. But besides Darren, it's been at that point in time, yo, if you know me, you know I'm a big J. Cole fan. I'm a big Jay-Z. Jay-Z fan more so than anything. So at the times, I can't even say inspiration, but my targets were Jay-Z, J. Cole, Lupe Fiasco. That's those were the three main targets. Not to mention the intermediate targets with Shaquan and Eric, because we do this together. You know what I'm saying? We come up doing this together. So pretty much, that's it.
So now we're going to get into the more interesting questions, right?
Yes, sir.
So, MCing and rapping, right? Is there a time where you felt like, you know, I'm necessarily walking a fine line between a rapper and an MC? And then could you like define or elaborate on the difference between the two?
The difference between rapping and MC. Yes, sir. Like, anybody can really rap. I can rhyme words.
I can
all day. You can rhyme words all day. You had a segment in literature of poetry where they had you writing poetry. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was my wedding vows.
If you would have said it with bass, then you rapping. You feel what I'm saying? But the difference between rapping and MCing to me is like once it becomes a craft for you. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Once it becomes a craft for you, once it becomes something that you do daily, once it becomes something that you strive to be better at, once it becomes something that you learn to master, and it becomes you become an MC through the process.
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying? So
facts.
When I see a rapper, anybody can rap. That's the difference. So I can tell a rapper from an MC depending on the stages that they are in the craft. You know what I'm saying? The stages let me know, because as an MC, you can do certain things. You can do certain things with words many people can't do, and I can identify MC by that alone. I can identify MC by impact, because certain MCs have certain elements that certain don't.
And see, what's one of the things, like, far as a rapper and an MC that we, like, in our culture today that we see that is not necessarily, like, really touched on or touch base. Because when it comes to the message of a song, when it comes to the message of what the artist is expressing, like, do you feel like expression is a symbolic or a validation of the music that's coming from the individual that's putting it out, or like just kind of elaborate on that?
Okay, number one is music is a business, right?
Facts.
So when what we hear today is it comes off as an illusion, because these record labels push what they think wants to be heard.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? You have to dig deeper to find the artistry behind a person, the artistry within the MC, because the same man that may have dropped a mainstream album actually can really rap and give you great content, but you have to listen to the album to find that out. Sometimes it ain't on there. Sometimes the record label is hey, it's not going to work. You feel what I'm saying? So we need you to do such and such, A, B, C, whatever we need, because that's what the fans want to hear from you. But in reality, when you find yourself catering to fans, you find yourself losing yourself little by little, which means what made you an MC is leaving you little by little. Because that expression that you speak on, you ain't having that freedom to say what you want to say. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So with that being said, like, yo, it's more of a as far as expression goes and saying what you want to say, that you got to have full creative control.
Okay, so we're gonna stop with the kindergarten questions.
All right, got you.
We're gonna put it like this: what have you learned, that you didn't learn coming in?
Yo, that's a hard question to answer because you learn something. Because learning is a moment by moment. It ain't even a day by day. Learning is a moment by moment process. So as long as you study, you constantly learning. If you always a person that pays attention to detail, then you always learning.
Yes, sir.
So what I learned, I can't. We would have to do 20 million interviews for me to even break that down to you.
But no, but the amazing part of what you just said though is like it's just I guess it depends on the individual in their mind to understand because you have a lot of judgmental people. They don't understand that learning is a forever process. Right. You know what I'm saying? And to look at it as a forever process, it enables the individual to see growth. Yeah. And so it's like, in a sense, it's like, how could we really see growth without understanding a learning process? Because some people be like, okay, you know them better, you're dead better, society. Yeah. Like you broke the law, how that goes. So that's man, an amazing answer, man. Is there a difference between Dominique Simmons in real life?
There's a very distinct
Talk to us about that. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about that.
It's crazy because real life is a reflection of me, right? Right. But he's not me. It's almost like if a person was telling my story, I know my story better than anybody, so who's better to tell it than real life? You know what I'm saying? Because I am real life, but in a sense, there has to be a separation because my real life continues after I leave the studio. Facts. You feel what I'm saying? Facts. I still have a wife to care for. I still have a son to care for. I still have family to keep up with. So I'm not fully rapping 24/7.
Shout out to cousin Amanda in the end.
Most definitely, man. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I still have a life after I leave the studio. So, but real life is honestly for any artist, who you are becomes your persona. You feel what I'm saying? Facts. And your persona is nothing more than an expression of your real self or how you perceive things, if that makes sense.
It definitely does. No, so for the most part, let's just say if we had because a lot of kids growing up here, like man in South Carolina, ALC Akaloo, by the way, shout out to ALC. It's like when you think about where we come from and the way that we've been raised, the values, growing up, the way that we came up, we grew up. A lot of individuals necessarily don't have the same upbringing or the same environments, because environments change. Everything you have to adapt to. Facts. So it's like how with your music, does that play a big part in what you express? Like as far as a rapper, when you see forecasting, how does that change your forecast on what I wanted to say to the people, what I want to, whether between what you want to say to the people or just staying relevant, or just elaborate on that.
Pretty much how the environment affects
the effect, cause and effect.
Okay, true. Check this out. It's this thing, right? People have a tendency to separate themselves from what's going on. Facts. Doesn't mean you're not a part of it. You just separate yourself. You don't want to be mentioned with it. In reality, we're all products of our environment. Absolutely. We're all products of our environment. 100%. So where you came up molded you. The household you grew up in molded you. You feel what I'm saying? Your upbringing molded you. If a person is a bratty rich person, he probably grew up a bratty rich person. You know what I'm saying? If a person is he probably had a humble backing or something throughout life humble him. But as far as the effects of environment to music, you can. It goes hand in hand because as artists, we speak on what we know and what we see. theoretically, that's what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't do it. But we speak on what we know and what we see and how our environment molded us.
Right.
That's why Carolina right here, bro. Carolina it brought me up.
Yes, sir.
I can't rep Georgia if I never was from Georgia. Like, you can, but it's not authentic.
It's not authentic. So what does originality mean to you? Check this out. There's a small bridge between originality and inspiration. Right. Which means inspiring. Like, I can hear Andre 3000 and it can inspire me to write something, but that don't necessarily mean I have to rap like Andre 3K. You know what I'm saying? Right. I can speak on same subject matters, whatever the case may be, but it's originality. It means a lot to me because, number one, you don't want to just sound like everybody because God made everybody different, and you want that different part of you to show. You know what I'm saying? I feel like to deprive people of that is to cheat God out of what He gave you, and why do that? You know what I'm saying? You want to be yourself, because if anything out of that, then you're being what we may call as fake. You're not yourself. Not yourself. You know what I'm saying? Which is also a product of your environment, because your environment may cause you to act a certain way or make you feel like you need to be. So you have to be content with who you are to even, you know what I'm saying, be able to display you boldly. And it's funny that you say that, because it's like so much of your music, right, that you're speaking to a specific crowd of people. And it's crazy because the crowd of people that you're speaking to is like, you know, it's almost like on an enlightenment standpoint, you know, like to like really either be you or to like really, you know, go authentic. It's like pro, you know, because like we don't see that no more. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the fact of the matter is, like, just someone gives a damn. Is this cable TV? I said damn. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone gives a damn. You know, I'm just because I'm a Christian, but you know, that's out of the park. You know? But it's just the fact that someone cares and someone gives a crap. That it's like an awakening that constantly is given, or that it attempts to be given. That you know, most people hear. It's almost like a sermon. Like, you hear today, but then it's like, come Monday or Wednesday, it's like it's gone. Yeah. Like, it's like as an artist, how does that make you feel? With the potential of just knowing that what I've said, and does that make you want to work harder? Like, no, you know? see, because it's this thing, right? Mm-hmm. The fans, and it's not to be mean or anything, but this is just the reality of it. Your fans are the second to hear your music. Right. So the first person you have to speak to is yourself. Well, thank God I'm your cousin. Facts. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the reality of it. The first person that you have to impress is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm in there, a lot of times, don't get me wrong, every time I write my music, I'm thinking about the crowd that it's going to reach. But sometimes, bro, you have, I ain't going to say dumb it down, but you have to, honestly, it's that in a sense. The people, what happened in society, hip hop society, make it seem like it's a bad thing to dumb stuff down. To not dumb stuff down is idiotic, because that's the same way you have to do to teach a child. You have to bring it down to their level to be able to connect with them. I got 5 kids. You feel what I'm saying? I understand that. That's facts. So you got to be able to dumb stuff down. If you speaking at a collegiate level all day, kids, you're never going to get through to anybody. Yeah. You'll get through the people who understand on that level. It's funny that you said that. I had a football coach tell me one time, he was like, you know what? If you tell a kid to run a flag, or run to run a slant, he's not going to know what route to run. But if you demonstrate it and dumb it down, that kid can like potentially be like the next Jerry Rice. So to say that is just like this. To say that is to say this, right? What happens is you get to a certain point. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you forget the process that you went through. Yeah. You expect, because you grasp it now, you forget that the next person has to go through a process. Real life. So you explain it. Real life. From a sense of you've been there, not explaining it from a sense of progression. You feel what I'm saying? Real life. For me to when I come to my music, that's what I'm gonna use to a project. For me, it's levels of everything anybody can grasp. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect nobody to care for my album from 1 to 14 because what happens is certain songs in there that's not meant for certain levels.
You feel what I'm saying?
So with that being said, like, do you reach, or is your aim to, like, I mean, because don't get me wrong, you got like the Michael Jordans, everybody, like this new thing that the young people say today, oh, I'm the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, I'm the GOAT. Like, but to me, it seems like you're more of like a LeBron James in a sense. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, everybody knows you're a Laker fan. Everybody knows you're a Laker fan.
I even started with a Laker.
Put it out there. Everybody knows you're a Laker fan, right?
Yeah.
So it's not to even try to like sugarcoat that part or that portion of it, but it's me. From what I see, like my own classification, observation, it seems to me that you're the type of individual that would necessarily go to aim for the best all around.
Yeah. In
the sense, you know, so like, could you kind of elaborate, like why, or like what, you know, real life?
Because I have this saying. Mm-hmm. It's not even my saying; it's a saying we've heard numerous times. Right. Think outside of the box. It's not, but I adapted the saying. So it's more so of if I can do one thing, then you can box me in. But if I can do a lot of things, then you have a hard time classifying me.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So with LeBron, he can score, he can get rebounds, points.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Dennis
saying?
Rodman, Michael Jordan, you know, coach.
He can do
Tom Brady if they, you know.
He can do it all on the court.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, I want to be able to, okay, I can speak to the trappers. I can speak to the conscious. I can speak to the Christians. I can speak to them. I can speak to every the white people, the black people, the Indians, the Mexicans. I can speak to different demographics because not saying I can. Number one, there's something. I don't care what the distinction is between any race. There's always something that can bring you together.
Absolutely.
For the most part, is love. I ain't gonna stand a lot to you. But
love is the greatest.
You feel what I'm saying? But it's an understanding that you gotta have. You feel what I'm saying? So when I see stuff like as far as on an aspect of like reaching a certain demographic, is understanding what connects us all and touch up on those subjects. Because number one, I don't care who you are, Mexican, black, white. If you're in the same environment, you're getting affected. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of those, the way it affects you is very, very similar. So I can speak on something that may not relate to race, but the Mexican can understand it because he's going through the same thing. We all going through COVID right now. If I speak on that, everybody can relate to that.
Everybody's going to relate to it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Everyone at that moment when you say, like, far as COVID or what, like, on that demographic alone, on that identification alone, you know, and it's something that's unfortunate. It's something that was unseen, but the fact of the matter is that, as you just said, it's something that all of us can be able to identify with. Yeah. You know, and that's like, so to me, it's like, okay, you know, if I pay car payments on this car, yeah, you know, or if I put gas in this car, I'm just saying, me hypothetically, just me speaking, I want to be able to listen to someone that I can relate to. Right. You know, it's really hard in these days to actually identify with what a lot that I hear. Yeah. That I hear. I'm just saying me. I'm picking on me. I hear.
Check. We came from the dirt and go back to the same when we die. One day you look up and you will see my name in the skies. Only time I look up is when I'm praying to God. Niggas pray to see me fail, but they hate when I try. You slang drugs, you slang music, or you slanging them lies. Or slanging lies inside your music, which is a drug.